SCP-3331. 1 minute, it's a toy phone that never shuts up. The next, it plays John Cena's entrance theme. Sounds innocent, right? Until a shirtless John Cena clone appears out of nowhere, picks up the phone like he's taking a business call. Then, immediately starts throwing hands at the next clone in sight. Bet you didn't see that coming, huh? Apparently, there are dozens of clones in containment, all identical, but each one's just slightly off. Some move at impossible speeds. One always wins any challenge. Another can predict your punches before you throw them. And yes, one once suplexed another through a concrete wall. They all think they're the real John Cena, including, awkwardly, the original. He was interviewed once, polite, confused, even charming, until he suddenly froze the agent in place and said, "You won't see me." Then he vanished, so I guess he was right about that. Later, the Foundation found a homemade wrestling ring in his basement and a mass grave under it. 15 other clones, all dead. None made it to the ICU, which might have been the point. Can't have anyone saying, "I see you," right? Now, the toy sits contained in a locked room under 24/7 surveillance, surrounded by reinforced walls and exactly 0 mirrors. Because last time someone yelled, "Who's the real Cena?" we lost a ceiling. The real John Cena? Possibly out there. So yeah, you can't see him. But apparently neither can the Foundation. SCP-3313. You know Benjamin Franklin, right? Founding father, inventor. And, shockingly, the proud owner of history's most overachieving penis. SCP-3313 is exactly what it sounds like. The preserved, severed manhood of Franklin himself. A literal 18th century artifact radiating Big D energy in the most literal way possible. Somehow, this ween hasn't decayed a bit in over 200 years. And now for the big reveal, anyone who touches it, and for some reason there's always someone volunteering, instantly gains Class 2 reality warping powers. Just say what you want out loud and reality bends to make it happen. It's basically a genie. If the genie was a historic piece of anatomy, you really, really don't want to rub. The effect only works if you can speak, which means if you can't talk, you're out of luck, or maybe in luck, depending on how much you want to explain to your family why you're holding a willy. And yes, it takes requests literally, so "I want a hot dog" might not end the way you expect. For context, Franklin was already kind of a big deal. He helped write the Declaration of Independence, discovered electricity, and now, apparently, invented reality warping meat. Turns out the guy on the $100 bill was also packing something equally valuable in his trousers. Containment is easy. SCP-3313 is locked up in Site 88 under reality suppression fields. Direct contact is forbidden, unless you want to risk rewriting the world, because someone thought it'd be funny to say "D's nuts." Personally, I would say that's not funny. SCP-4708. SCP-4708 is the one and only Mike Tyson. Yes, the same guy who bit someone's ear off during a boxing match. Former heavyweight champion, knockout legend, and apparently a Keter-class part-time reality bender. The Foundation has confirmed that, in addition to punching holes through people's careers, he can also turn objects, and sometimes people, into giant pigeons. This all started in 2019, when over 3,000 videos titled "Mike Tyson's Magic Minute" dropped online at once. Each one features Tyson performing magic tricks, which is generous wording for making the laws of physics tap out. In one video, he covers a couple with a blanket and pulls it off to reveal 2 human-sized pigeons. In another, he turns an entire commuter bus into a 15-meter pigeon that then vomits 22 smaller pigeons. If that doesn't blow you away, I don't know what does. When the Foundation tried to talk to him, he responded by biting off an agent's ear, turning it into a 4-meter pigeon and flying away on it. Which, honestly, is almost as impressive as the booty shorts he wore to one of his pre-fight interviews. Containment is basically turning a deaf ear. The Foundation scrubs his videos from the internet, blames them on deepfakes, and sends a team to track him down. His current location? Unknown. So maybe check your local pigeon population, and definitely don't say, "I'm all ears," unless you're all ears for new videos, in which case, hit that bell. SCP-343. SCP-343, also known as God, the Big G, creator of the universe, and, apparently, a totally chill dude who lives in a small Foundation cell because it feels cozy. He showed up in Prague one day by teleporting onto a rooftop, introduced himself as Yahweh, and politely came along when agents picked him up. Now, he voluntarily resides at Site 17, emphasis on voluntarily, because he's made it very clear he can leave anytime he wants. When asked to prove he was actually the man upstairs, he smiled, walked through a wall, and returned with a cheeseburger. Divine power confirmed, I guess. He often appears as a calm, friendly old man, though his looks seem to shift depending on who's staring. He's omnipotent, all-knowing, and a surprisingly great listener, according to several Foundation staff, all of whom report feeling mysteriously better after a visit. Clearance levels? Irrelevant. Hell, the guards don't even stop interns. They just go, Sky Daddy likes the company, which is probably why he's classified as safe, mostly because God-tier threat but chill about it isn't in the system. Of course, not everyone's buying the whole almighty creator bit. One suspicious researcher tried confronting him and then mysteriously vanished, as in erased from existence, and no one remembers him. So either SCP-343 is God, or just thinks he is and happens to have terrifying powers to back it up. Anyways, containment is technically unnecessary. He's choosing to stay, which, again, he has made really, really clear. SCP-076-2. Technically, his name's Abel, but he mostly just makes sure nobody else is. He's a lad who pops out of a black stone cube looking like a ripped Sumerian action figure. Tattoos, scars, and long, matted hair that's seen more battles than shampoo. As for clothes, the original file doesn't mention any, so now he's rocking a loincloth that technically covers the essentials, but only if you squint. When he wakes up, everyone in a 50-meter radius should probably stop thirsting and start sprinting. Because this guy isn't exactly harmless, and you'll need both hands to run. You see, saying he's born to kill is an understatement. This guy once beat someone down using his own intestines as makeshift nunchucks. Respectfully, what the hell? And if you're thinking, why not just kill him? You wouldn't be able to. He'll just dust and respawn inside his coffin, somewhere between 6 hours and 25 years later, ready for round 2. No, not that round 2, you perv. He's also directly inspired by Abel, from the Book of Genesis. You know that dude who got murdered by his brother Cain in what might be history's first recorded family dispute? Cain got jealous, so Abel got a rock to the face, obviously. Unfortunately, this version of Abel didn't stay dead. So now, this bad boy lives 200 meters underground. He's buried in solid rock under Site-19, inside a cube, behind blast doors, and surrounded by seawater traps. It's how to bury a problem on expert mode. SCP-4680. SCP-4680 is none other than Grigory Rasputin. Yes, that Russian. According to some stories, historical assassins poisoned him, even drowned him. Yet somehow he kept saying, I feel fine. And according to the SCP Foundation, there's a reason for that. Sometime before his assassination, Rasputin apparently got real cozy with the indestructible man at a circus. After some heavy drinking and questionable deals, he walked away with regenerative powers. They couldn't save him from a missing limb, but they sure helped him fake his death in 1916. Fast forward 100 years, and he's caught trying to rob the Museum of Russian Erotica. So yeah, the man lived through the fall of the Romanovs just to get arrested for stealing what he claimed was his penis, a famously preserved specimen on display. It had apparently been robbed of him in his sleep by someone named Nicholas. And Rasputin? Well, he took that personally. Despite his regenerative abilities, he can't grow back missing parts. And let's just say, this one meant a lot to him. In his own words, to reclaim it is now the only thing that matters. I bet Franklin would agree. Containment is simple in theory. He lives in a cell at Site-59, with a strict cap of 5 bottles of cheap red wine per day, the only thing that keeps him manageable. He's still big and strong, and according to himself, full of ecstasy and fire. Unfortunately, these days, his only real affairs of state involve trying to break into museums with a crowbar and a fake mustache. SCP-668. SCP-668 looks like the most boring kitchen knife you've ever seen, but instead of cutting sandwiches, it cuts off your ability to move. It's Euclid class, which basically means the Foundation doesn't trust it, but they're pretty sure it won't escape and stab a guard in the break room, probably. Anyways, the fun starts when someone pulls this knife with violent intent. It emits some invisible psychic chill pill that hits everyone nearby. Not because they suddenly agree with murder, their bodies just won't move. You can see, hear, even feel everything. You might even feel horrified. But lifting a hand to help? Not gonna happen. And the person being attacked? Yep, frozen too. So basically, you're stuck in spectator mode, while the wielder goes full fruit ninja on whoever's in range. And before you say that's unrealistic, SCP-668 is based on the real 1964 Kitty Genovese case, the one where newspapers claimed 38 people watched her get attacked and no one helped. In reality, people did call the cops, but the response sucked. Still, the knife makes that legend literal, carving the bystander effect into reality itself. The object is now kept locked in a high-security box at Site-19. If anyone needs to take it out, They need high-level approval and a 24-hour explosive collar, because apparently, I promise I'll give it back doesn't cut it. So, yeah, they say don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Personally, I would just not go to a gunfight. SCP-1981. SCP-1981 is an old Betamax tape labeled Ronald Reagan cut up while talking, typo included. It starts like a real recording of President Ronald Reagan's 1983 Evil Empire speech, until about a minute in, when things go wildly off script. Suddenly, Reagan starts talking about torture, child abuse, and bizarre rituals, none of which were in the original speech. Then, it gets real goofy. Invisible forces start tearing into him. Cuts, impalements, mutilation, all shown in graphic detail. Reagan keeps talking even as his body falls apart, until his voice literally gives out. What's even more disturbing is that every time you play the tape, the speech changes. Sometimes it's nonsense. Sometimes terrifyingly accurate predictions of future events, like 9/11 or foreign elections. And every so often, a hooded figure in black robes just appears in the background. It doesn't move or anything. It basically just stands there awkwardly, like that one vampire boy from Twilight. In the SCP universe, the tape was discovered in 1991, while the real Reagan was still alive. No confirmed connection, but some speculate his real-life dementia was tied to this thing. SCP-1981 is now locked in a secure vault. It can't be copied or digitized, only filmed off a screen, analog style. A Betamax player is provided, along with a camcorder, a waiver, and a barf bucket. That concludes the list, guys. If you ever see Mike Tyson flying overhead on a giant pigeon, don't say I didn't warn you.